Grace, mercy, and peace to you from God our Father and our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. Amen. As I sit on the couch watching TV last night, watching the championship volleyball game, or when I'm watching Christmas movies or whatever I'm watching on TV, not during important shows like Survivor or nothing, that gets on my full attention. But sometimes I peruse Facebook. And so as I've been looking at Facebook pictures, I see a lot of things that I'm not seeing at my house. I'm seeing a lot of baked cookies. People taking pictures of their cookies. I even got a video from Shelley as she called me to show me the Christmas dough she was making. I hope you've actually made the cookies now, they're not still in the refrigerator. I've seen powdered sugar strewn over an entire kitchen that I am sure the mother and grandmother are still cleaning up. I've seen notes about people waiting for the gifts that they ordered online to be delivered, some weeks or months even after they've been ordered. People are talking about grocery shopping, about getting their cards out, about gift wrapping. Cleaning the house seems to be something that a lot of people are doing. If it was my mother and she was here, she would be polishing the silver, as I'd be saying, why are we going to use that for Christmas? There's only going to be the 4 of us. I hear about the crowds at the stores, or how difficult it is to drive down Bay Road or State Street with all the traffic. And then, of course, it is that time of the year when the weather's changing, and so some of our households are filled with illness. And we're worried about final school projects that needed to get done, or the dealing with college kids who are now back home and don't have to don't think they have to follow the same rules they had when they were at home. Did I just hear say they do? Yeah, they still don't think they do. You can say that all you want, they still don't think they do. And then I wonder how many of us really say, because I see it a lot on Facebook and I see it in conversation, people say, I am just not ready for Christmas. Can we just fast forward to January 1, or can we just delay it? I'm not ready for Christmas. I don't know if it's because we live in a society that thinks that we should get extensions for everything. You know, tax season's coming. You don't quite get it ready by April 15th. You can file for an extension. If you don't get your paper quite done, you might be able to ask your teacher if you could get an extension. I had a seminary professor who once said, you better be careful about those extensions because Sunday isn't going to be delayed just because you're not done and ready for it. I wonder what Mary and Joseph thought that first Christmas. Joseph was planning to dismiss Mary quietly, not to disgrace her. That was the plan. And then in a dream, an angel of the Lord came to him and told him not to be afraid to marry Mary. That's a weird thing to say. To wed Mary, that sounds better. To take her as his wife. And so he did. And he was told to name the baby Emmanuel. But what was it like that first Christmas? How ready are any parents really at the birth of their first child? And then imagine that you are a couple so young, and all these other things are going around you, the angels are coming, and all that other stuff going on. How can you really be prepared with all that going on? And not only that, now you are hugely pregnant, and you have to travel away from home, walking or on some kind of animal, to a place to get registered, and they aren't giving you an extension to do that. Today you'd be told not to travel. But imagine that you have to travel with your husband away from home, away from family, And while you are making that journey, you go into labor with nothing around you that says this is a place to birth your baby. And there was no one that would let them in. Was Mary saying, can we delay this a little bit longer? Was she saying, can't we just fast forward and move on? But the reality is that Jesus didn't wait for Mary and Joseph to be ready. And Mary and Joseph named that baby Emmanuel, which means God with us, ready or not. In our reading today, as we are this close to Christmas, and as many of us say that we are not ready for Christmas, the good news is, get ready for this, we're never going to be completely ready. You will never be completely ready for Christmas, for the coming of Christmas, and Jesus comes anyway. Our lives may be swamped, they may be overwhelming, they may even be boring. But God is with us, no matter what situation we find ourselves in. God knew we would never be ready. God knew we would never be able to get our lives so in line with the way God wanted them to be, that God breaks into our lives now and always, not in a fancy place, not in the way that was expected, but God comes to us in those tiny little crevices where God can get into, and God is with us. So as we live these cramped days ahead, as we try and get everything else done, all the shopping, all the cards, all the whatever else our last minute thing's doing. I was talking to one of our worshipers at 8 o'clock who's going over to get trim for his kitchen so he can finish his kitchen before his whole family comes over for Christmas. That just seems crazy to me, but that's the way it works. The reminder is that God is with us, God is here, whether we are ready or not. Because it's not dependent on us. It is not dependent on how much we get done. And getting ready for Christmas is not really about the tree or the food or the gifts or even the cookies. Christmas is about the celebration that God is with us. So as I was reading and looking for poems about being ready for Christmas, I found this Christmas poem. The author is unknown. But I think it's a reminder that in these days, as we are working on the fast-paced ways of getting ready for Christmas, that we need to have our eyes open for where we see God. For where God is with us today, and not miss the opportunities. Ready for Christmas? She said with a sigh, as she gave a last touch to the gifts piled high. Then wearily she sat for a moment and read, till soon, very soon, she was nodding her head. Then quietly spoke a voice in her dream, ready for Christmas? What do you mean? I seem to remember that only last week you wouldn't acknowledge your friend on the street. Ready for Christmas while holding a grudge? Perhaps you'd better let God be the judge. Why? How can the Christ child come and abide in a heart that is selfish and still filled with pride? Ready for Christmas when only today a beggar lad came and you turned him away, without even a smile to show that you cared. So little he asked, which you could have spared. Ready for Christmas? You've worked, it is true, but just doing the things that you wanted to do. Ready for Christmas? Your circle's too small. Why, you are not ready for Christmas at all. She awoke with a start and a cry of despair. There's so little time and I've still to prepare. Oh, Father, forgive me, I see what you mean. To be ready means more than a house swept clean. Yes, more than the giving of gifts and a tree. It's a heart swept clean that he wants to see. a heart that is free from bitterness and sin, ready for Christmas means ready for Him. Again, after we use these last few days to get ready, let's not be so busy that we miss the people that we come across on the streets, in the stores, and in our lives. Let us be aware of those that God puts in front of us, because Christ is here. Emmanuel. Come, Lord Jesus. Amen. I invite you to stand as we sing our servant song.